get to this. So good to see you all on here today for this burst of innovation. There are so many of you on. I really feel like we've kind of become a global community through all this. So thank you, thank you. I know we have some people on from way across the globe from where I am, and I so appreciate you being here, and I appreciate all of you who've been with us for the last couple of weeks through these as we dialed up our 10-minute burst of innovation. So today I want to talk about fear, comfort, and constraint in times of crisis. And this is actually coming directly with some added layers, but directly from my book, Innovation is Everybody's Business. I spent a lot of time in here talking about that because their powers are very seductive, and it's very easy for us to get swayed by fear, comfort, and constraint when we need to move forward. So today, we're going to talk about how to overcome those things. So I'm going to share with you a personal story because I want you to see how it shows up in very subtle and insidious ways and in places that you least expect it. So you can imagine what's happening in the places where it's obvious. And then I want to talk a little bit about fear, comfort, and constraint, kind of what they really look like so that you can overcome them, so that you can be stronger and be the leader that your team and your people need you to be. Then, of course, I'm going to share with you 3 easy steps for overcoming fear, comfort, and constraint for yourself and for your team, and also a little bit of a black diamond one on the back end, because I know a lot of you on here know what type of everyday innovator you are, and I want to leverage that to give you a step above as well. But the steps will work for everyone. So let me share my personal story first. And actually, before I dig in, let me say to those of you that are new, the chat bar is open, meaning if you've got something to add, if you've got a question, if you've got a comment, that is the place to do it. I know we're only here for 10 minutes, but interaction is fantastic. So the more, the better. And I will often ask questions as well. Did you just hear my dryer going off in the background, by the way? There's a lot of noise in the house today while I work from home. So use the chat bar, say hello, add your thoughts. Love it. I try to kind of call it out when it happens and give you a little bit of credit too, because I think everybody has a little bit of nuggets of the insight. We're all everyday innovators on here. Excuse me. So let me share, excuse me, let me share this personal story first that really highlights how fear, comfort, and constraint show up everywhere, not just in the places where it's obvious because you're taking a big risk or making a massive change. So there's this Greek restaurant that my kids and I go to, obviously not right now, but we have for years. We've been going there since my kids were little, since they were in the little snuggly thing on my chest, and they are now 15 and 11. So everybody there knows us. We know the menu front and back. We go almost every Saturday or Sunday after swim meets or, you know, hiking or whatever. It's our go-to. So one day we're driving down the street and my 15-year-old says to me, "Hey Mom, what if we tried that new restaurant down the street? It looks pretty interesting. We should go there." And you guys, I panicked. I looked at my son. I was like, oh, no, I don't want to go there. I mean, what if the food is bad? We just don't know. I mean, I don't really want to risk that. We should just go to the Greek restaurant because we know it's going to be okay. And there was a silence in the car. And then my son turned to me and he goes, "Mom, is it really that big of a risk to try new food?" And in that moment, I realized what was happening. My fear of having a bad experience overrode my desire to try something new, my desire to stay comfortable, right? What I know, what I've done, what I can kind of count on, kind of shot past my desire to be innovative, try something new, be creative. My constraints on myself, meaning the system that I had set up, because this is what we did every Saturday and Sunday, that constraint, that ritual that I created a barrier to me trying something new. Now, here's the thing. We tried the new restaurant. It was fine. It wasn't like earth-shattering, but it doesn't matter. It was great that we did it. And then the next weekend, we went back to our Greek restaurant that we love so much. But I share that story while it seems very kind of, I don't know, maybe irrelevant. And in some ways it is, but it was that moment where I realized, wow, fear, comfort, and constraint really take over. They really have power over us in ways we don't even realize, and in moments that we don't even realize. And that got me thinking, that moment got me thinking about all the different times that I allow fear of failure, fear of success, fear of perceived risks. By the way, most of the time the risks are perceived. Fear of trying something new, like fear of the unknown. It made me think about how all the times that actually takes over. Or comfort, right? My desire to be safe and comfortable, easy, to not rock the boat. And here's the funny thing about people, by the way, and this is really dialed up in times of crisis. We would rather stay with what we've done and not rock the boat, even if we don't like how it's working, right? It's like the lesser of two evils, is that old phrase. So we've got to be careful with comfort because it really draws us back. And then constraints. So in the story I shared, that was a constraint that I created, that I imposed on everybody. But there's also constraints of the system, right? Bureaucracy, processes, leadership always saying no. I talk a little bit in my book. There's this great story of a colleague of mine who went to a healthcare system to work because she was told we need to be innovative. And then at every turn, she hit the constraints of the system, the no's and no's and the no's, and she eventually left. And I think it's really important right now to understand our constraints because there's this interesting thing happening right now where the constraints of the system that we're in aren't matching the world that we're in. So those constraints, good and bad, were built for yesterday's world. They're not built for COVID-19 moving forward, as crazy as that sounds, but it's true. And I would really encourage, on a side note, for all of you to think about what are the constraints, what is our system, our processes that are hindering innovation. They hindered innovation yesterday, and now they're really hindering it because it's really not set up for where we're headed. They're set up for where we've been. So that's fear, comfort, and constraint. Let me share my screen with you, of course, because I want to show you. That's not what I wanted. Wow, I'm having like bang up tech today, huh? Let's try 3. Aha, there we are, woohoo! One day someone's gonna teach me some much better PowerPoint skills. Okay, that's the visual that we have for fear, comfort, and constraint. And I would love for you to put in the chat bar as we're talking, like, how does fear, comfort, and constraint show up for you? Is it fear of failure? Is it fear of trying something new? Is it fear of becoming irrelevant? There's a lot of ways fear shows up, right? I talked a little bit about mine, and it kind of puts me in a panic mode. Comfort, like where does that, do you not go for the big phone call? Do you not go for the big idea? Do you not share your thinking because it's more comfortable to stay quiet and stay hidden, keep your head down? Or constraint, right? The constraints of the system, the constraints that you put on yourself. Bijal put fear of failure and judgment. Wow, judgment. And Bijal, I'm glad you mentioned that because here's the interesting thing about that right now. I was talking to a colleague about this. Actually, sorry, I was on a podcast interview. That's what I was talking about it. And I was saying that what's interesting about judgment right now is we have more room to make mistakes and try new things with our employees, our teams, our customers than ever before because we're all going through it. Yet we let fear hold us back, right? Margaret put fear of speaking up. Yes, I think that's a huge one. It's way more comfortable, right? And way less scary to just stay quiet. So, yep, exactly, Margaret, of offering a different view. Wilma put fear of failure and judgment. Yes, God, judgment is so big for us as humans, isn't it? Maybe we'll do this on the next one because we don't have time today, but I have this great exercise that I would love to play with you if you're willing to do it with me. But we'd have to actually all get on and be able to see each other. But it is a great exercise to show that not only do we fear the judgment of others, but the real judgment that holds us back is our own. We judge our own ideas and our own thinking before we even put them out into the world. It is amazing how many of those layers of judgment are all here, right here in our head and in our bodies. It's not even out there yet. We stop it before we can even be judged by others. So in a crisis, here's what happens with fear, comfort, and constraint, right? It puts us into reactive mode versus deliberate mode or innovation mode. It brings up our confirmation bias, which basically means that we look for things to validate what we think. We look for things to validate our fears, our comforts, and our constraints, right? Oh yeah, no, I'm glad I didn't speak up because this would have happened. See, like that's the proof over there. Confirmation bias is like, when you decide, I'm going to get a blue VW bug. That's the car I want. And then all of a sudden you see them everywhere. That's confirmation bias. And it works on the opposite side too. So it also works to really validate those fears and what we know to be true, which is not true. And I think it also puts you in either, what I've seen in my experience is either paralysis or it makes you impulsive, right? Either you shut down and you freeze up, or you just start leaping and hoping things stick to the wall. Neither of those are a good place to be, right? So I want to give you 3 easy steps for overcoming fear, comfort, and constraint, again, with yourself and with the team around you. So the first one is observe versus being run by your emotions. So a lot of fear, comfort, and constraint comes from the primal brain, right? It comes from that lizard brain that I've talked about so much. We've got to get into the habit of not just letting our emotions run us, but actually observing them. Taking a second to say, what am I feeling right here? And why am I feeling this? And I know that sounds really touchy-feely. And for those of you that know me, you know I'm actually not a touchy-feely person at all. But in this case, we don't want our emotions to be the drivers. And actually what neuroscience has shown is that our emotions actually precede our thoughts and our actions. It's actually not actions and then emotions, which is what we used to think. Neuroscience and research has now shown us it's actually the other way around. So we want to take a step to observe. And by the way, when you're by yourself, this is obviously very easy. Why am I feeling this? What's going on? I would encourage you to think about being brave enough to ask your team this too. So when you get together to have a discussion, to say to them, hey, what are we all feeling about this right now? How is this impacting, our emotions? People are more willing now than ever to have those really transparent and authentic and raw conversations. And I actually think it's one of the good things that's coming out of all this. Use it. But we got to start by not letting our emotions be the drivers of the bus, right? We need to be. We do that by observing. The second one is, and I know I've talked about this before, 3 deep breaths. Research has shown that 3 deep breaths, just 3 deep breaths, can actually minimize cortisol, which is the stress hormone in our bodies. It also gives our brains a chance to catch up, right? The higher thinking brain to catch up and actually have some space and not let the primal brain be in control. It helps us get over fear, helps us get over that desire to be comfortable. It helps us get over those constraints that we're dealing with. And then the third one is start asking questions. This is where innovation comes in. So the first 2 are all about kind of calming, centering, getting control of your emotions and your mind. And then the third one is where we start to truly innovate. And any of the questions that we've talked about before will work. But I want to give you a little bit of black diamond to close this out, because I know a lot of you know what type of everyday innovator you are. You have 2 power triggers, right? That create your power, your wellspring of innovation. That's your strongest value, your strong voice. And you have questions that will speak to you in a way that really work for your brain. Now, I didn't do all of them, and I'm happy if someone wants to email me and say, hey, what about for me? What are the questions I should be asking? I'm happy to. In general, just get yourself and your team to ask questions to help you to think differently, right? There's a lot of power in that. But to take it to the black diamond, highest value, highest performing level, make it match your everyday innovator style, because that is your natural innovation strength. So for example, if you're a collaborative, you might ask, who or what can I connect with to help me pull together the pieces in a new way? Why? Because you innovate by pulling disparate people and ideas and experiences together to create whole innovation. If you're a risk taker, which is one of mine, by the way, where can I add bold thinking to help me and my team get over the hurdles we face? Well, I like to leap and be uncomfortable. That's where I innovate. It's not about being impulsive or being careless. It's about being big and being in that uncomfortable space so that I can unlock innovation. So words like bold really speak to me and the other risk takers. If you're an instinctual, how can I connect the pieces to create new opportunities? You instinctuals are so brilliant at pulling together disparate, let me say it differently. You have a more circuitous path to thinking. So you pull together A to X to Y over to L back to A and pull it all together. You find insights and patterns that the rest of us don't yet see. So if you're an instinctual, how can I connect the pieces to create new opportunities? And then if you're a tweaker, which is all about optimizing, adjusting, editing, evolving, how can I improve what's working and or adjust what's not working, right? The word adjust, improve, those words really unlock the tweaker mind. Now, as I said, I didn't get a chance to go through all 9 power triggers, but if you want me to let you know specifically to yours that I didn't cover, all you got to do is let me know and I will email you a send. Connie wrote, being seen and people judging negatively. So Connie, I'm going to get back to that for a second to close out because I know we're over, but I want to cover that. So again, 3 steps. Get control of your emotions, observe them, breathe, and then start asking questions. The beauty, by the way, I hope you'll take a screenshot of this, is that if you have a team of people, you have a diverse group of people in the room, you have diverse cognitive styles, diverse everyday innovator styles, which means that different questions speak to different people. So I would suggest if you're getting together to have these conversations about turning obstacles into opportunities, bring all these questions. Ask them all of your team. You'll find the collaborative resonates with this one. They have more ideas. The tweaker with this one, the futuristic with this one. You get the point. We have an incredible opportunity right now to tap the power of the diversity of thinking in our people. But we got to recognize they all innovate differently, and we got to connect with them in a way that actually unlocks that in us and in them. All right, just to close out, I just don't want to miss Connie's comment, because I think it's important when we go back to kind of fear, comfort, and constraint, being seen and people judging negatively. It's very easy to hide in the corner. It's very easy to be quiet. It's very easy to not speak up, because when you put yourself in the spotlight, that fear of what if they don't like me? What if I fail publicly? What if they see me for who I am and don't like it? Is very real and very big. And I can tell you, Connie, firsthand, as someone who's been thrown more and more into the spotlight as my business has grown, that's a fear I've really had to grapple with over and over again. And the comfortable side of me says, just dip your toe in the spotlight and then back up, right? Dip your toe and then back up. But the reality is, if I want to achieve the things I want to achieve and make the impact I want to make, I have to be in the spotlight and I have to deal with that being seen fear. And Connie, I would encourage you to think about how to be seen, but also how to own it. Because the reality is not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody likes me, pretty sure of it. Some people do, some people don't. And here's the thing. Indifference in people around you is worse than love or hate, because at least here they have feelings about you. In the middle, indifference, that's the worst place to be. All right, that's a little bit of a tangent, but Connie, I thought being seen just as a concept was so powerful. So, all right, thank you, everyone. I'll see you Wednesday. Just as a reminder, we do not have the Burst of Innovation on Friday, because I will be on the Innovation Summit. We've actually done it a little bit differently than I first said. It's 50 minutes instead of 3 hours. We were asked, please, Tamara, give all that content, but I need 50 minutes so that I can get in and get out. I was like, get it, understood. So we did that. We dropped the price, we upped the content, and we added Q&A so that I can stay on as long on the back end as needed. So highly encourage you to sign up. As Journey would say, it's the final countdown until Friday. Either way, I will see you Wednesday. Thanks, everyone.